والسلام على أشرف الخلق وعز المرسلين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين وعلى جميع أنبياء الله والمرسلين. Brothers and sisters, we reach the last ayah of Surah Al-Kafirun. And the ayah is talking about لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ عليكم السلام والإكرام لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِين. Some scholars here, they said, oh, we can use this ayah as a proof of what? Freedom of faith. Because if I want to read it by itself, it's saying, لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِين. Surah Al-Kafirun, verse number 6. لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِين. So you worship your God, you believe in that God, you belong to that sect, to that school of thought, to that religion. I belong to something totally different. I belong to Islam. And everyone has his choice. So they say this is a proof of a freedom of faith. You pick your faith. And also they use it as a sign or a verse or a proof that we have freedom in Islam. Because if I am giving you the freedom to pick your faith, definitely there is a tolerance to express yourself, to express more about your religions, to worship your God the way you want, just name it. But is the ayah good enough to be a proof to that, or we need more verses, much clearer one? We have a group of scholars, they said this ayah by itself is not enough. Why? Because it's not saying you have your religion that I'm giving with it some privileges and I have my religion. The ayah is not in that direction. The ayah is talking about expressing the differences between you and us. Excuse me. You have your religion, I have my religion. Where is the freedom of choice or of faith? Where is it? You have your own way, I have my own way. That's the other group of scholars. A third opinion said, no, this ayah, it's warning al-kafirin. And as I said in my previous lecture, al-kafir does not mean, the word kafir is not always under the name of infidel. Al-kafir has different levels and different meanings. A mu'min could be a kafir when he does not thank God, or when he does not, let's say, do certain Islamic tasks, wajib ones. We have a kafir that he does not believe in God at all, and we have a kafir in something. لم يكن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين in Surah Al-Bayyinah. And they say, الواو here للمغايرة, يعني الكافرون could be from أهل الكتاب and could be, الكافرون here means أهل الكتاب, and المشركون are different than أهل الكتاب. لم يكن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين. For those أهل الكتاب, they are not mushrikeen, they are kuffar. And also we have kuffar who do not even believe in Jesus. Or God. This is the ultimate level, extreme way. And we have, as I said, the kufr levels and different, ways. Here we are talking about al-kuffar who are not believing in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam according to certain scholars and their tafsir. Now, the third opinion was saying, لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ, you al-kafirin, and شو, you have your religion and I have mine. They say, oh, this is a warning and a threat. Tell them, how did you come up with that? They say, because it is embedded. How do you figure it out? Based on what? We understand the meaning of the ayah as is, based on Arabic language, Arabic understanding, based on what's before, what's after, hadith, authentic hadith, and just name it. Where did you get this concept that, hey, there is a threat here for other people from different religion? They say, it's like, you know what? You know, you have one day, one day we are going to meet. Oh, that's a threat. You have your religion that you are going to be punished for, and I have my religion that I'm going to be rewarded. Tell them, okay, where did you get this from? Maybe that's what you assume. But that's not guaranteed, you know, in our understanding of the ayah. It's kind of, you know, added meaning to the ayah. The fourth opinion, and here is the critical one, he said, no, this ayah is not talking about freedom of speech at all or freedom of religion. It's just saying, you have your religion, I have mine. So, okay, this is one of the opinions that we said. What's the difference? Oh, we have a difference. He complained, or those scholars, they complain that we have verses in the Qur'an override the meaning of this ayah. So they believe that this ayah is talking about freedom of religion and freedom of practicing your religion, but they claim it is what? It is overridden by different ayat. And here our main topic for today. We talked about al-nasikh wal-mansukh before. Inshallah, I will, review it again. We have, among Muslims, we have an opinion that says there is this verdict mentioned in the Quran, and somewhere else you might find another verse that has what? And a power to override that. It's like an amendment. And this is, many scholars believe in this. Sayyid al-Khu'i and some other scholars, they say no. This is, you assume it is overriding it. It is not. This ayah is showing certain factors, limitations, circumstances. It is like, I say, please visit your neighbors. And there is a very bad neighbor in your area, and you know for a fact, if you knock on his door, you will be dead. So by the end of the day, I ask you, did you visit your neighbors? Yes, except one person, because he is bad. You say, is that against my order? No, because you understood from my statement is to visit your neighbors, be nice with them, be kind with them to a certain point. Do not hurt yourself. How I'm going to know? Because you're not allowed to hurt yourself. Isn't it? So there is something embedded here. You can, understand it from other places. Sometimes the ayah will be very general. Another ayah will show us certain circumstances, events, situation. It is not this ayah overriding that. No, it is showing us the exceptions. It's like, so many places in the Quran, we see an ayah, it's very general, we see another ayah, it is what? Limiting it. Why? It is not limiting it as an absolute meaning. It's limiting it in certain events, certain situations. Example, we have an ayah said, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الصَّلَاةِ وَأَنْتُمْ سُكَارَى. Oh, see? So therefore, if I am not praying, I can drink. No, the ayah is not saying this. The ayah is giving these people the wisdom behind what? Not getting drunk. Because if you are drunk, how you are going to pray and understand what's happening? You tell me, yeah, there is another ayah override this. What is it? إنما الخمر والميسر يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر قل فيهما إثم كبير ومنافع للناس وإثمهما أكبر من نفعهما. So here is much clearer. So, some other ayat too. Here, some scholars, they say, see, it is overriding the previous one. Some scholars, they say, no, it is just uncovering the rules regarding khamr little by little, gradually. But from the beginning, al-khamr is what? Haram. And we have even riwayat, since Adam, al-khamr is haram. So it's impossible that the Prophet will allow al-khamr, because it's against the common sense of the main, or one of the main important tools of a human, comprehension. Comprehension. And this is one of the main differences between us and what? And animals. Anyway, so here the scholars, the group of the scholars, what they say? They say this ayah is talking about the freedom of choosing your religion and practicing it. But we have another ayah overrides this. Where, like bara'atun min Allahi wa rasulihi, they pick certain ayat, they will see there is no tolerance here. It's a big subject. To summarize it quickly, because we are running out of time, we say, if it were to be one ayah, okay, I might get into debate with you. But we have so many ayat in the Quran, it is opposite to your thinking. Example, this ayah, let me give you the, I don't know the chapter, but it's called Al-Mumtahana or Al-Mumtahina. It's read Al-Mumtahana or Al-Mumtahina. Verse number 8. This in Arabic edition, it will be page 550. لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم إن الله يحب المقسطين. So it's talking about Allah does not forbid you to deal justly and kindly with those who fought not against you on account of religion, and they did not drive you out of your houses. Verily, Allah loves those who deal with equity. So this is much clearer than the first one. The first one, you might tell me, I'm showing you, you have a religion, I have mine. Okay, done deal. Here, it is showing you how to deal with those you differ with them in religion, and to be good with them, to be just. Allah does not forbid you to deal justly and kindly with those who fight not against you. لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم. يعني be kind to them and be just. With whom? With those who do not fight you, those who do not kick you out of your houses. Is there much clearer than that? So how you are telling me that Islam was spread by sword, which we are going to discuss later on? Islam is giving me a general rule. Another ayah, like, in Surah Al-Baqarah, لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي. Don't we read this? Some people, they consider a portion of Ayat al-Kursi. Ayah plus another, couple ayat. فمن شاء فليؤمن ومن شاء شو فليكفر. If you want to believe, go ahead. If you don't want to believe, it's up to you. So giving you some freedom. And so many other ayat, inshallah we'll get to them our next meeting. But the idea and the main question would be, if it is that clear, why we had wars? They used to call them al-futuhat. Why? Why Islam started spreading and we saw battles against other countries or entities? Why? How do we explain it? Well, this is a big subject, very complex. It needs lots of details. Inshallah, if I get a chance, we'll go into details. I promise one day, okay? But we cannot analyze it as simple as that. Because the first question would be, why when Imam Ali alayhi salam was Khalifa, we did not see any of these wars, futuhat? Why? For like a couple years. How come? Some might claim because he had wars inside the country itself. Like civil wars, nowadays we call it. People, they went against Imam Ali. Sayyidah Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, went against Imam Ali. Al-Khawarij went against Imam Ali, and they fought him. Muawiyah, he fought Imam Ali. So we had like 3 wars. But is that the reason? Is that the reason Imam Ali did not let the people spread the message through wars? It's a very valid question. Another thing, are you allowed in Islam to fight other people if they are not hurting you? It's a big question. And that's why we have so many scholars, they say, hey, you're not allowed to. You are not allowed to start a war. You have the right to defend yourself, but you have no right to start a war. In the Sunni school of thought, we have different opinions. To them, no, it is fine. To them, you have to spread the message. You have to initiate this and that. That's their opinion. In Ahl al-Bayt school of thought, no, we are more conservative and more careful. So you tell me, so why the Prophet had wars? That's a good question. It was mainly in Arabia or around it. Why? The scholars that I was talking about, that group of scholars, they say this is under the freedom of speech. Yani I send a messenger. I tell you, I want to talk about Islam. And I want to tell people about my religion. And I want to enter into debate and dialogue with your people. The answer is no, and I kill the messenger. So what's the solution here? In addition, if that person is unjust, hurting his people, making them live in superstitious life, taking advantages of them, creating problems with his other, people, with other countries. So the only choice was what? To prove to them, I am what? I'm strong. But this is, we have to think of. If you tell me Islam was spreading by sword, And we show some ayat that says no, because la ikraha fi din, you are not forced to be a Muslim. Why Islam? Why did Islam, or why does Islam, because it's still alive, this meaning, why does Islam allow the Christian churches and the Christian people to stay in Arabia or in their locations? Why Islam tolerate and accepted a man, a Muslim man, to get married to a Christian lady or a Jewish lady? Isn't this a sign of tolerance? So that group of scholars will add something to the equation, that one of the problems of the Prophet was not the different opinion, was the opinion that is hurting others, not allowing freedom of speech, creating wars, and his problem mainly was with lawless people. Because a mushrik has no book, no covenant, no laws. Al-mushrikeen main problem, one of the main problems the Prophet faced, not the other religions. Mainly it was what? Mushrikeen. Who are al-mushrikeen? They created their own God, idols. They created, they say, a God made out of dates. They were hungry, they ate it. It was a delicious God. Okay? Thank God they were on diet or something, you know. It's like, I had one of the guys, was saying a joke. He said, Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salam, at a point, they gave out their food for a poor person, for an orphanage, for an orphan person, and for a prisoner. They were hungry, fasting. Yet, when they felt there is someone in need of that food, they did not eat, and they gave it to them. He said, imagine those people, they are nowadays in USA, they are going to ask, is it gluten-free? How many calories? Where did you buy this bread from? Is it organic or not? Okay? So just, internal remark. No. The people over there, they did not care about religion. They did not care about the Christians. They did not care about Jews. They did not care about God. They had their laws. When you create your God, that means you are in charge of creating your own customized laws that you keep changing it as you wish. To a point they used to change the month. So today is Rajab, or today is Muharram, ya akhi, much clearer. Muharram. In Arabia, you are not allowed to fight or have a war during Muharram. You are not allowed to, unless it is you are defending yourself, that's a different story. Arab people back then, it is Muharram time or Dhul Hijjah, you are not allowed to fight. Postpone it. Unless it's critical and you are defending yourself. But you do not initiate wars. And that's why, people, they used to come to Kaaba and they feel safe. Why? Because it is min al-ashhur al-hurum. All of a sudden, they felt there is a need for a war. What did they used to do? Yeah, we'll make Dhul Hijjah not this month. We postpone it 1 month. Shifted. That's a joke. It's a joke. It's like sometimes how we see people play with human rights, and international laws. So, how I'm going to deal with these mushrikeen? They are not people of principles. They are not. They are not. They are willing to compromise, hurting others. Look what they did to Ammar bin Yasir, to his father, to his mother. They stole the money of Muslims. They took over their houses. They kicked them out. They made them 3 years with no food, with no one was allowed to visit them. Be Shi'ab Abi Talib, 3 years. So what's the solution? And I open with them dialogue. 10 years I am with them. The Prophet stayed 10 years with them. 10 years talking to them about Quran in Mecca. 10 years. The Prophet did not fight any. 10 years. So the solution, they say, that group of scholars, was to defend yourself. Was not a war that is initiated by the Prophet. Was a war to defend what? Freedom of speech, to defend faith, to defend themselves. So the second question would be, so what about al-futuhat that happened during al-Khalifa Abu Bakr, al-Khalifa Umar, Uthman, Muawiyah, what do you say this? Is it legitimate in Islam or not? What do you say, يعني هذا الزلمة هلا يزيد بن معاوية, he killed Sayyid Shabab Ahl al-Jannah. You think he's going to care about our fiqh session يعني, and our logic? So these people, they misused religion in general, I'm talking, not specific group, to fit their political agenda. And you are going to see fatwa affected by this, and they legislate to them certain wars. And we saw what happened in the Middle East, when we saw a group of sick people, they consider themselves scholars, they start in, putting fatwa that hurt what? Muslims, killing Muslims. Didn't we see this nowadays? Till now we see it. Why? Because the religion is not understood by the pious, righteous people. It is abused and misused. And this is the beauty to be loyal to Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad alayhi salam. Yani Ahl al-Bayt were able to give us more than 250 years, 260 years of examples. Those people, the other school of thoughts, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam passed away, the Sahaba there had their understanding, Tabi'een, dan. Okay, there are certain stuff were not explained. And yet that's why you see fuqaha like Abu Hanifa, he said, not everything has to be from hadith. I have my opinion. Oh, your opinion based on what? You're talking Abu Hanifa way before Al-Bukhari or Muslim. So if your faqih, one of your big fuqaha, scholars, from the beginning, he put some question on certain hadith, why you are making the certain books very sacred? Based on what? Especially we are seeing problems from certain narrations. Whether it is, Aqidah or fiqh or usra or just name it, family problems or scientific ones. Imagine I read hadith to them as Sahih as-Sanad that the sun, when it's setting, goes to Arish and then the Malaika will bring it back. Ya Habibi, the sun stays in its place. If it is here dark, in other places it's still shining. What are you talking about? No, Sheikh, you don't understand. I do not understand. خليني أحط هالPhD بزبالي يا أخي. Why? Because they don't want to say the hadith is wrong. We are not saying the Sahabi is wrong. I mean, a liar. But maybe he misunderstood the Prophet. Maybe who narrated from that Sahabi said something wrong. Back to our topic. If scientific issues I have a problem with, how do you want me to trust big topic, whether Islam was spread by sword or not, and there is politics involved in it, and one of your big scholars or group of scholars, they were able to generate a fatwa to allow killing al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. How do you want me to understand you? How? You have role models went against Ali bin Abi Talib, and you told me, Ya Ali, la yuhibbuka illa mu'min wa la yabghaduka illa munafiq. Yani the only person who hates you, Ali bin Abi Talib, is that who is hypocrite, and that who loves you, he is a believer, a true believer. And who said that hadith? Sahih Muslim. Look, that's your book, it's not my book. So how do you want me to put a theory about al-futuhat if I see pollution in your logic? pollution in your resources, pollution in certain facts and battles. And this is a big subject. So, how Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salam look at al-Futuhat, you know what I mean by al-Futuhat, isn't it? When they send a group of army to go to another country to talk to them about what? Islam. It's a big subject. What did Ahl al-Bayt say about that? Is it right or wrong? Into more details to be inshallah discussed with our next meeting. But overall, we Muslims, the followers of Ahl al-Bayt, the followers of Ali bin Abi Talib, and the rest of Ahl al-Bayt, the followers of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, we say the Quran was clear. لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي. We cannot force anyone to believe. فمن شاء فليؤمن ومن شاء فليكفر. لا ينهاكم, as we said in Surah Al-Mumtahana, آية 8, لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم إنه يحب المقسطين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders you to be kind and just with those who do not fight you, who do not kick you out of your houses, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who are just. This is the bottom line and the quick summary, and details to be understood. We have to, inshallah, deal with two major events in Islam, or ideas or concepts: Hurub al-Ridda and al-Futuhat. What's Hurub al-Ridda? Hurub al-Ridda, Al-Khalifa Abu Bakr, he came up with a solution, and definitely some other groups. He said, oh, these Muslimin, they are not paying zakat, that means they are kuffar. So he had a fight with them. Is that legitimate in Islam? So if let's say a group decided not to pray, they know pray is wajib, but I don't feel like praying. Do you have the right to fight them and kill them? If someone or a group of people, they say fasting is 100% authenticated and I believe in fasting, but we don't want to fast, are you allowed to kill them? Are you allowed to misuse the hadith, لَيْسَ بَيْنَ الْمُؤْمِنِ وَالْكَافِرِ إِلَّا تَرْكِ الصَّلَاةِ, the famous narration, let's put it this way. So the difference between al-mu'min and al-kafir, salah. So if he does not pray, that means he is kafir, that means he is he is out of our citizenship process. That's it. We take away his citizenship. He is not Muslim anymore. No. We said al-kufr is levels. It's not just as you are seeing. It's not like engineering things. A equals 1, so whenever there is A is 1. Ya Habibi, this is not a global variable. If you're doing a programming, I'm sorry. It's not a global variable. Al-Kafir is not a global. In fiqh, Al-Kafir is different than Al-Fiqh in Quran. Al-Kafir in Quran. Al-Kufr in Quran has levels. Not Al-Kafir, that means a person who does not believe in God, who does not believe in Quran. No. This is one of them. ليس بين المؤمن والكافر إلا ترك الصلاة. مش معناتها يعني إذا ما صلى صار كافر يعني like Abu Jahl or Abu Lahab. No. He has kufr in certain things. If a person does not thank God, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَإِن كَفَرْتُمْ. So kufran al-ni'mah, when you don't say الشكر لله, this is portion of kufr, but not the kufr like Abu Jahl or Abu Lahab or al-mushrikeen. That's totally different. And that's what we discussed before. So we have Hurub al-Ridda. How legitimate is it? Why Al-Khalifa took that route? Is it permissible in Islam to use force in certain places like that? This is one of them. Secondly, what about Al-Futuhat? How do you explain that the Muslims, they went to Spain? And what about, do we consider this an invasion? What did they do? What if the country is, mainly a country that believes in God, its people, They are Christians. And in Islam, if you are Christian, you have the right to stay Christian. Islam had a problem with the mushrikeen, those who do not believe in any God except their idols, or they believe idols are portion of God and they affect God. But Islam was not against the faith of the Christian people. And that's why we see Islam gave an opportunity for a Muslim man to get married with a Muslim lady. A Muslim man to get married with a Jewish lady. And he called the Christians and the Jews Ahlul Kitab. How you are going to get married to a lady, you say, I love you, and you are in Jahannam? How? Explain it to me. How you are going to build a family based on hellfire destination? How? What kind of respect is this? And inshallah, more details to be discussed later on. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. Mainly, brothers and sisters, before I forget, inshallah we'll discuss it more later on. The wars that the Prophet ﷺ was involved in was not wars to attack people or to steal their land or to steal their resources. Badr, we'll talk about a different case, what happened in Badr. But mainly, it was against people who were lawless, he had with them truce, and they rejected it, they denied it. Those who are corrupt, those who used to hurt others, hurt nature, hurt environment, those who used to create problems into society, spread the superstitious, downgraded others, and that was a big problem. مش إنه the Prophet start a war like that. No, he had written documentation with them. He had the rights, he showed them their rights, their boundaries, limits among Muslims, and guess what? They went against it. Why? Because that does not fit them. They prove that Islam is a forgiving religion. When the Prophet, who was kicked out of Mecca, when he came back to Mecca after many years with a big army, he did not allow anyone to kill the people of Mecca. And he even said, if you are enter, let's say, the house of Abu Sufyan, you are safe. If you enter the house of that person, you are safe. When the leader or the person leading the army was saying, اليوم يوم الملحمة فيه تسبى الحرمة, this is the day of a bloody day, and this is the day where we are going to confiscate your properties and others. The Prophet stopped him and he sent Ali and he said, اليوم يوم المرحمة. This is the day of mercy. فيه تصان الحرمة. This is the day we protect women and we keep them safe. That's Islam. And this is when the Prophet was in his ultimate power. Not a few followers. Inshallah, more to be explained. إلى أرواح موتانا وموتى المؤمنين والمؤمنات نهدي ثواب مجلسنا هذا مع سورة المباركة الفاتحة تسبيغ الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.